Alright, at this point, we've got different targets spawning. We've got normal targets increasing the score by 1. And if we get any other targets spawning, which we may have to wait here for a bit, I'll just keep clicking. Aha. A red target, which I do want it to end the game, but just for now, it's going to decrease the score. So you can see my score is decreasing. And then you should also have bonus targets, and we are really not getting lucky with this game. That should increase the score by a different amount. So I increased them by 2. Here's one finally. So from 23, a bonus target is going to basically double points or something like that. Whatever you want, I don't care. I want to start worrying about the game over stuff. Now, I hate to take over because, you know, these are your games. You kind of want to make them yourselves. But I think a good idea is to make this game kind of like a 30-second barrage where they have 30 seconds to hit as many targets as possible, and then the game's over. So the reason I want to do that is because we get a little more practice with the stopwatch tool, the stopwatch class. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much the only reason why. So I want to give the user 30 seconds to play this game. And I also want to show the user how much time has passed. So I have a stopwatch to keep track of the time in between target spawns. But I also want to create a new timer, or a new stopwatch, I should say. So the stopwatch class, or the stopwatch tool, this stopwatch is going to keep track of game duration. I think that's a good name, right? The game duration. So I've got one stopwatch to keep track of when the last target is spawned, and now I've got another stopwatch to keep track of the total game time. Now, of course, when I start the game, we are starting the one stopwatch. It would only make sense that I'm going to have to start the second stopwatch at the exact same time when the game starts. And I kind of want to see the time, which we didn't do with the first stopwatch, but now we're going to do it with this stopwatch. So I'm going to bring in a label, actually, because I'm lazy. I'm just going to copy and paste my score label. And I'm going to just say label time. And whatever. I'm just going to leave it as that. We can clean it up later. So I want to show the stopwatch. I want to show the stopwatch updating inside this label. So remember, our game is updating in the timer. And look how clean our timer is, right? We put all that junk over here. I'm not spawning targets anymore. I can just minimize that. I'm not clicking targets. I can just minimize that. I don't need these events right now. Look at how clean our code is, right? Look how easy this is to read. So the timer is, or sorry, the game loop timer is updating our game. So it makes sense that I want to update this label just as our game is updating to show the time that's been passed. So I'm going to go label time dot text, and I want to show the game duration. So I'm going to use the game duration, and I will use the elapsed method. Now there's a red line here because game duration, after all, is a stopwatch, and it's gonna elapsed shows me how much time, or it tells me how much time has passed. But remember, text wants a string, right? We're trying to convert, you can see the error, time span to string. So the game duration, the stopwatch works on this time span object. Text just wants string. So that's not to worry. I can just hit it with a toString, convert it to a string. So now each time the game ticks, which is 60 frames per second, the text will change to show how much duration has passed. So let's take a look here. My score label is invisible to start, I believe. So I will have to make my time label visible as well. And there you can see how the stopwatch is counting in real time, keeping track of perfect time. It's a bit much, right? Who the heck needs to see all the way, what is that, to the millionth, 10 millionth place there? I don't need to see all those decimals. I'll show you a cool little trick with the label. If, I've showed you this before, you change the auto size label to be false, which means I can control how big this label is. So if the label starts right here and auto size is false, that means it's not going to grow to show all of those decimal places. So let's see how it looks now. So you can see it didn't grow, but perhaps we needed it to grow a little bit as we are cutting off the one number. Oh, there we go. We got the tens place. We got the 10 seconds. So I'm just going to stretch this label out a little bit. Oh. And now I've got the seconds with all of the decimals cut off. I can maybe be a little bit picky. I can maybe get that little decimal to disappear by making it just a bit smaller. Oh, not quite. Just a bit smaller. Anyways, you get the point. You can play with this. Whatever. Anyways, it's a lot easier than seeing basically all of those decimals that are, really not necessary. Okay, so what did I say? We want to give the user 30 seconds to play the game. So you're going to need to create another if statement that looks very similar to this one, except we're focusing on the game duration, right? So if 30 seconds have passed, based on the game duration stopwatch, you're going to write code for that. And you're not going to have any numbers in here. You're not going to have any numbers. You're going to make it look almost identical to this one. And instead of spawning a target, we're going to game over. And we're going to keep our code nice and clean. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to create a game over function. So all of your game over code is going to go right in here. Okay. So if that happens, if we're over 30 seconds, we're game over. So we're going to call the game over function. And that's going to happen. Get that going, and we'll talk about game over on the next video.